Hello, everybody. Welcome to Club Fuck It Bucket, the place where we get together and we talk about moments in our life when we wanted to do something and it seemed amazing, but maybe the universe or the people around us were saying, no, don't do that. It's too risky. And we're just like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to do it anyway. And we talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly that come out of that. And today I'm here with one of my favorite nomads in the entire world. Lauren, also known as Wander on Wheels on Instagram. So we're trying, Lauren, come on out. Here we go. So we're trying something new. So if this gets confusing, just let us know. We are live on Fuck It, right? Really bad. We are live on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Instagram. But Restream doesn't let us go live on Instagram. So we've got our phones here and just like staring at us while we do it. So
it looks like they can't hear you on Instagram.
Oh, they can't. Okay.
I think it's the headphones.
Maybe it is. Let's see. Huh.
There's always something in this remote world we live in.
Okay, let's see. What if I...
How about that? Can you hear
me now?
April now? Sweet Drone Chicago?
Maybe. What if I go like this? Oh, I know why. Hang on. I figured it out. Boom. Okay, how about now? Can you hear me now?
Oh, we're a little delayed. Let's see. Oh, now you can hear me back.
But now I think there's feedback. Uh-oh. Okay, hang on. One more way, and then maybe we have to scrap it. But let's see about what if this works. Okay, now.
Can you hear her now?
Can you hear me now?
Still can't hear her.
Oh, dang. No. Okay, well, maybe.
All right, Instagram.
You just only hear Lauren on that side. I don't know.
I guess I'll stay on if you want to just listen to me. If not, I can record this and post it later. So, yeah. Oop, now I can't hear you at all. Someone says they can read your lips. Still can't hear you at all.
How about now?
I can hear you now.
Okay. All right. Well, that's a bummer. We'll figure it out. But here's the thing that we did is we literally, as we were coming on, we're like, let's try this. What's the worst that can happen? Literally nothing, right? So fuck it. And here we are. We're just living the Club Fuck It Bucket life. So Lauren, thank you so much for finding the time while you're on the road and living your best life to join us here at Club Fuck It Bucket. Where are you? Where in the world are you right now?
So I am near Lake of the Ozarks area in Warsaw, Missouri. We're on Truman Lake currently. We are kind of working our way south to Louisiana for the winter months. So,
okay, all right. And yeah. Are you currently in your home, your RV?
Streaming? Yeah. So this is my living room / kitchen / half of the office? RV because I live in an RV. Yeah, / office. We've kind of redone it to make it look like a home. That was really important to us because we live in it full time. So we wanted to lighten up the space and make it as homey as possible. So
that's amazing. Now, how long have you all been living in the RV?
We have been in this RV for about 6 months, but we've been on the road for about 1.5 years. So we started in a Class C that was 22 feet, and then we upgraded to a 41-foot fifth wheel. So we've doubled in space.
That's amazing. That must be like, did you just like get in and just hold out your arms and twirl around in circles and be like,
I think the closet was the most exciting spot, like space, just as a
right.
female, just being able to hang things up, and 75% of it's mine, about 25% is my husband. So
That's amazing. Chris just said, my amazing producer and a wonderful friend, that he had no idea that you were in an RV whenever you came on, which I think is the point of how you all decorated it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. We wanted it. A lot of RVs come pretty dark, so we wanted to lighten it up.
Yeah. So have you always been kind of a nomad, adventurer, like traveler?
I kind of have. I grew up in West Michigan in Kalamazoo, but my mom was originally from Brooklyn. My dad was from Michigan, and they actually met down in New Orleans. And I'm telling you all this because it'll all come together in a minute. But I grew up spending every summer in New York visiting family, and then every Christmas in New Orleans. So I kind of got this immediate sense of adventure when I was young. My parents always inspired me to kind of go out and do my life and not hold back. And my grandma, for example, backpacked across Europe when she was younger. And so it's always just kind of been in my family. And this lifestyle inspired because of COVID, as most of us did. So
yeah. That's so okay. I spend a lot of time looking at RVs and going like, I just want to fuck off and go live wherever I want to be. And I think we kind of have that like soul thing together. But what is the reality of that? Like, what was did you suggest it first? Did your husband suggest it first? Like, who came up with the idea, and what was the first reaction that the other person had?
Yeah, so it's people usually think it's my husband for some reason, but it was actually my idea. We were supposed to get married at April 11th, 2020. So as you can imagine, 3 weeks before the world shut down, we had 150 people flying to Jamaica, and of course that did not happen. And so,
for 2 weeks. What are you talking about?
I know, why couldn't COVID just waited like just a couple more weeks?
Just stay home for 2 weeks. It'll be fine.
That's okay. We ended up being able to have our wedding about a year ago. But anyways, yeah, so that was kind of what started the idea. And I've, always kind of been an adventurer. My husband's from Chicago, born and raised, had never really left Chicago besides to go to college. And I fell into a YouTube vortex of van life. And as we do, and it was like, all of a sudden it was my idea that I wanted to go live in a van with my husband and my 2 dogs. And at the time I wanted to live in just a van, like, no slides, like Sprinter van, not much space for anything. And neither of us had remote jobs at the time. I had actually lost my job due to COVID and I personally had never gone camping ever.
Okay.
So it was kind of strange that I wanted to do this, but for me, it was more about like traveling and meeting people and seeing the world versus like the outdoors. But now I've learned to appreciate the outdoors so much more. So,
right.
Yeah.
And so when you suggested it, and this was not necessarily like kind of how your husband is built, what did he say? Like, what was he just like, you're fucking crazy? Or
he usually tries to talk me down, but then knows that if I have an idea, I'll probably bring it to light.
For it, right?
The latest one has been another dog.
Anthony goes, is it a van down by the river or just a van? Because like avoid the vans down by the river.
Yeah,
like,
it's
candy and a PlayStation. Get into our van.
Yeah, no, the vans that we actually went in so like the next step in this process after falling into the YouTube vortex was just going to Camping World and just starting to look. And we knew nothing. And if there's one suggestion I could give everyone that has any interest in this lifestyle is either go rent a van or rent an RV or just go and do it before you spend a lot of money, because then you'll kind of figure out what you want. And we've learned that through the hard way of purchasable. So yeah, we went and looked at these Sprinter vans. We really liked it. They were $150,000. And yeah, and we were like, That's
and it's COVID and you've lost your job and like
I've lost my job and I have nothing to show for my income, so of course. And the other hard part is the bank doesn't look at it as a house, they look at it as a recreational vehicle. So if you want financing, well, it's tough too. So anyways, we ended up getting financing, but for a much smaller loan that put us in a Class C. And so that's where we kind of started. We didn't have any slides. It was 22 feet. I mean, it was perfect for the beginning of our journey. But then as we both got remote jobs or we were both on conference calls, it became more and more difficult to be in that space. And we eventually want to have kids. So we decided that we need to get something a little bigger.
Bigger. Okay. So your version of events has been challenged by your husband here.
Ooh, I see Iceland in the comments.
He said,
that's my husband. Oh yeah.
And he took you camping in a van down by the river in Iceland.
I did. That's a big portion. I forgot.
Jonathan, thank you for keeping her honest.
Wrote it on my paper. So our first trip together, I guess I would consider this camping. But our first trip together was to Iceland. And my husband used to work for Reykjavik, which is an Icelandic vodka company. And he had been like 5 times. And so I found some really cheap airfare to go to Iceland. I had never been to Iceland, had never really honestly had a desire to go.
Yeah.
And we went and he was like, okay, we're renting a van. This is how we're going to do it. We're going to go around the ring road. Have you been to Iceland, April?
No, it's on my bucket list because I want to go surfing there. So
yeah. Oh, cool.
Yeah. So hopefully.
But yeah, so we just took the van, we went around there, and that was our first trip. So we did that for 2 weeks, and then that kind of started the idea. So good point, John. You're right.
Okay, wait. So how long had y'all been dating before you went on this trip?
So that's the crazy part. Maybe like 7 months.
Okay, so you've been dating for 7 months. This was your first big trip together. And y'all decided to live in a van in Iceland for 2 weeks and travel around a foreign country together.
And we didn't even live in the same place at that same time. I lived in New Orleans. He lived in Chicago. So we we're doing this long distance thing. And I just was like really in love. And so, and I still am. But you know how it goes in the beginning. You're like, sure, I'll go in a van with you with no toilet and no shower around Iceland for 2 weeks. And we're going to get to know each other real quick.
I can contour my makeup in this mirror. It's fine.
But I mean, if you want to test your relationship right off the beginning, I highly suggest a van in Iceland. So
there you go. Now, who knew that this was going to turn into relationship advice?
Yeah, right.
That's amazing.
I wouldn't suggest it to everybody, but if you're feeling confident.
You threw it out there. Jonathan was like, why the hell not? And then when you started to tell people that you were going to do this, how did they react?
Well, it was kind of a slow trickle effect, but we kind of surprised my parents in a crazy way.
Okay.
We bought our RV the day before Christmas on Christmas Eve, which is a huge day in our family. Yeah. And we decided to roll up like Uncle Eddie and have string lights on the side. And I got my husband a sweatshirt that said the shitter's full. And we just had music playing. And my mom thought I was announcing that I was pregnant. Little did she know I was announcing that I was moving into an RV.
Oh my God.
So she wouldn't even go outside for a few days and even look at it, which was
I was about to say, because at this point you all knew that you were gonna be together, get married. So when your mom thought that you were announcing that you're pregnant, was she just over the moon happy?
Well, she right outside, she's like, what's going on? And then the next thing I know, I'm like, oh, here's my RV. And now I got to figure out how to fit this in your driveway. So
RV baby.
Yeah, we got a different form of baby. So that was our parents. And then my dad was super excited right from the get-go, wanted to move into the top bunk, was where am I flying to be next? And his parents were super supportive. I mean, they were excited, but there was definitely a lot of questions. Just how are you going to do this? Do you guys have remote jobs? How much did you spend on it? What's your what's the APR on that RV loan? All those just financial
What is your down
payment
going to be?
Exactly.
Right.
Those logical questions. Or the biggest question we get is how long are we going to do this for? And that was like what everyone said. And for us, it was like 2 years was the number that made sense financially.
Right.
And then we started, and now we don't really see an end in sight. So it's just kind of our life. Like it's not
Right.
out of the box for us anymore. So
right. This is the way. Jonathan says most people thought we were fucking crazy. Obviously, like Jonathan and I are going to be friends because we both dropped the F-bomb. Like we're champs. Thank you for being.
I'm trying to stay positive, John, but maybe I should be a little bit more.
I don't know. Oh, okay, Caroline, you're right. Like interesting people are always a little bit crazy. I don't know if you saw earlier, was it Kevin who said that LinkedIn is literally blanking out my F-bombs in the.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they know me.
Oh, jeez.
Like,
and Carolyn is my coworker. She actually lives in an RV full time too. So we have
that's amazing.
A couple RVers here.
Person. See,
yeah.
So are you before you did this, were you a fucketeer? Were you kind of like a just let's just fuck it and do the thing person?
I was, yeah. I mean, I moved to New Orleans when I was 22 and got a job offer in New York and said fuck it, moved to New York, and then had this dream that I was going to be a wedding planner in New York City, and took a job for $40,000 a year in New York City and said fuck it, I'm going to be a wedding planner in New York City, and barely could eat, but hey, I did it. And I had my J-Lo moment, as I call it, from the wedding planner.
I love it.
And then I had a job offer to go back to New Orleans and said fuck it, moved back to New Orleans. And then I always followed my career, and I never said I'd follow a guy, but met my husband John, who's been conversating, and he was in Chicago, and said I just knew like really early on, and said fuck it, moved to Chicago. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So we're out of time, but like where to next? How long are you all staying in Missouri, and then where you go next, you know?
Yeah, so we're actually leaving on Friday. We're headed to New Orleans. New Orleans is like my home, what I consider my home base, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll be there for a bit, see friends and family, and then we're not sure. We've been to 26 states so far, and hopefully we'll hit all 50, but that's not the goal. We're just kind of along for the ride, along for the wander.
I love it. Amazing. So tell everybody, where can they find you if they want to follow on your adventures, and if they have, like burning questions about how to poo in a van and those types of things, which I'm sure is probably one of the like most common questions that you get.
Yeah, and feel free to DM me, ask me all the questions. If I don't know the answer, my husband probably does. So we are on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, wander.onwheels. We have a YouTube, but we haven't started it yet, so that's on the next for the docket. But yeah, you can find us there.
Amazing. Thank
you. And you
can
add me on LinkedIn too.
Well, yeah, obviously that's always amazing on LinkedIn. Thank you so much for joining us today. I appreciate it. I love. Oh, hey, Thomas. Thomas is not my cousin, but I call him my cousin because we're both from the same place in Kentucky, and so it's most likely that we're related. We just don't know.
Okay.
That's the thing. Thank you for joining us. I can't wait to follow along with the adventures, and maybe one of these days when I'm in my RV and y'all are in your RV, then we can pull up next to each other and make s'mores together, because that would be awesome.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yes. If you're on the road, let me know. I'd love to meet you.
Yeah. See, there you go. Everybody follow along. It looks like I don't think we have a guest on Friday, so it's probably me telling you the crazy story of my adventures in Europe for the last couple of weeks. 1:30, actually, we're switching the time down to 1:30 Eastern Standard Time. So catch us there, and we will see you later this week. Thanks so much.
Thanks.